All right, let's go. Here we are, State Wars Hockey Podcast, number 38. Tim McManus, Long Island, New York, here with Greg Thompson. Day after a big USA Hockey gold medal win, junior team, over Team Canada last night. Greg, I know you've been going to bed early lately with the baby. Did you get to stay up and watch that game last night?
Damn right I did, Tim, and you know better. I don't miss a game. Yeah, man, I had to shut my texts off because I was watching on a live stream and it was a little delayed. So I didn't check my text till after the periods were over. I didn't want to get spoiled by anyone. But no, what a phenomenal game. Great tournament. I mean, that Canadian team was pretty stacked. So it's an impressive win.
Yeah, we said going in, you play a best of 7 series. I'm not sure if USA beats that Canadian team, but who knows? After last night's game, you never know. But in a one-game shot, I mean, it's anyone's game. That's what's kind of the beauty, even at like State Wars and a roller hockey tournament, single elimination. I mean, we've seen a lot of crazy things happen over the years. So not always the best team wins in one game. It's who's ready that night. And USA Hockey, I think you said before the game, big to score the first goal here. And that was obvious, getting the first one. And Spencer Knight just said, no, not today, boys.
Yeah, he was solid back there. I mean, there wasn't a lot of quality. I mean, obviously there was a couple, but he came up big when he had to. USA defense was phenomenal. I mean, those guys blocked so many shots. I know you brought that up, I think maybe after the semifinal or around Robin game, but those guys are just selling out, eating pucks, and not really giving too much space. And they're just a feisty little team, and it's incredible how small some of these guys are.
Yeah,
they look so small, like smaller than Johnny Gaudreau, and they're future NHLers. So it's just a fun team to watch, and it was just an awesome win for USA Hockey.
Yeah, and it's true with that defense, and what's so good about that D. You don't even always see them blocking so many shots. They're just always in lanes. So then the other teams don't even shoot half the time because there's nothing to shoot at.
Yeah.
They're just so good at being in spaces. The forwards do a great job, I think. And you really saw in that third period when Canada was pouring it on. USA really didn't have any offensive pressure. But even in the zone, they didn't give up a lot of huge chances. I mean, Spencer Knight came up big a few times, but I felt like they did a good job keeping them to the perimeter. And who stood out to you? I know Zegras, obviously everyone talks about. I mean, he really impressed me. I think the Ducks have a treasure with him. His vision is unbelievable.
Yeah, he's a stud. I mean, I guess Starman was saying last night, the Ducks did a real good job with their draft with their college players. I guess their scouts are really good with the college players, and they found the gem there. But yeah, for me, obviously Spencer Knight, but I thought York played very well.
Yeah, he did.
I didn't think he played his best games, before that. I thought he was pretty solid, but, he broke up that huge 2-on-1.
When he went down?
Yeah, and he poked it like last second, and that could have been a huge chance there for Canada. And that was a huge play of the game. And
I hate those plays going down. I hate when guys go down, but he made a great play there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was, pretty nasty. But, Caulfield.
How about Sanderson on D?
Yeah, big boy, move, patient.
Very father, I see that kid. I think he was top 5 or 6 pick. I think Ottawa got him and Tim Schutzel, however you say it, from Germany, right? They got 2 of them, like the top 5 picks.
Yeah, they did a good job there. But Turcotte, I thought, played well, and just all around. With the Canadians, I didn't think Cousins really stood out at all last night. I feel like he didn't really have much last night. He had a couple good plays. They didn't really call his name a lot, but there wasn't much. And that first power play that Canada had, that was a huge part of the game.
Yep.
They buried that one. Things might have been a little different. They might have gotten into Knight's head.
Mm-hmm.
And, his confidence might have went down a little bit, but he stood on his head last night, boy. Ooh.
Yeah, I know. I really like Beniers, number 10.
Yep.
So fast, so big, and I think he plays at Michigan, right? And our guest today, Travis Turnbull, he played 4 years at University of Michigan. So I believe that's what Beniers played. That's why I made a a joke in our group chat with the snipers today, Charlie Combs, about signing him for the snipers.
Charlie Combs plays at Michigan State.
Oh, he's at State?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that. There was at Michigan.
Yeah.
Well, sure he's got to run into him somewhere out there. Beniers, though, I really, really like him. And on the Canadian side, that McMichael's kid's obviously good. Obviously they had, the number 2 pick by the LA Kings is on their team. The big boy, Bynum, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Even that kid Schneider, number 2 on D, he was a 2nd-round pick by our Rangers. So he looked pretty solid out there.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that both goalies were, Florida Panthers draft pick. So that was pretty interesting to see that. And, obviously Spencer Knight was a much higher pick for them. So I'm sure that's an inner battle between those 2 goalies.
Yeah, exactly. That's bragging rights going into camp their first year, Yeah, I mean, that kid played really well as well. Canada didn't let up one single 5-on-5 even strength goal the entire tournament.
I know.
That's pretty damn impressive, if you ask me.
I like Zegers before the game because they weren't challenged yet, so
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes, people bitch about being in the harder bracket, and we hear that even at State Wars sometimes. But I kind of think that's good sometimes. You get challenged more, you prepare for the big games. I think USA losing that first game to Russia was probably a godsend for them. Woke them up quick. Like, hey, boys, it's now or never,
Yeah.
I know Andrew Otto mentioned the kid from New Jersey, Fabinacci, however you say it, Italian kid. He scored that first goal, I think, on the breakaway, right? That was a beautiful goal, stick side, Matt White style right there.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, going back to, the Canadian team, I like that Drysdale kid. Obviously he's a stud. I think he's another Anaheim guy, first rounder. And that Mercier kid, the Devils draft pick, he's a pretty damn good player as well. So a lot of good talent out there.
It's pretty impressive for Canada that, their captain got injured before the tournament basically started, and he was out. And then, you have Lafreniere, the number 1 draft pick by the New York Rangers this year, who you would assume would have been their best player. Rangers didn't let him play. So he sat it out. So imagine if those guys were playing. It just shows how deep the Canadians are.
And just goes to show you, I mean, like, we were talking yesterday, you're like, oh, you can get her anywhere doing anything. But, I get the risk. I get the risk factor. Kirby Dach got hurt in an exhibition game.
Yeah.
I always hated those exhibition games, every time we go over for Worlds and stuff, and teams would always want to set up exhibition matches. And I was never up for it. Obviously it's pretty cool getting the legs going and stuff like that, getting everyone on all cylinders. But at the same time, just don't want to show teams what we have.
Right.
At the same time.
I was against it too, obviously.
Yeah.
Remember Barcelona, DiMartino and some of the guys wanted to play, and Cadiz wanted to play that little tournament before when we were out there. We're like, nope, not happening.
Yeah, no, it's not worth it.
Hey, everyone always knocks roller hockey from the ice world, but I said to you last night, we had more fans at our gold medal game in Barcelona 2 summers ago than they had at the gold medal game last night in person. So, hey,
circumstances were a little different. But,
speaking of things that really cracked me up, this weekend that passed on Sunday, I saw one of the most, in my opinion, disgusting things in pro sports that really riles me up. And that was what the Philadelphia Eagles did on Sunday. And I know, and I see it on Facebook, you get all these Eagles fans try to defend it and whatnot, which is, I'm sorry, pathetic. But, for those who are living under a rock, the Eagles were playing I'm still going to call them the Redskins, the Washington Redskins in their game. The Cowboys had played the Giants earlier, and the winner had a chance to get the one spot going into the playoffs in the NFC East. And I'm a Cowboy fan, unfortunately. But we lost anyway, so I'm out of the picture. So now the Giants have a chance to win if the Eagles beat the Redskins or the Washington Club, whatever they call them. And the Eagles basically, the head coach, the game, they were down by 3, I think, at one point, and they were 4th and 1. And instead of just kicking the field goal to tie the game, they tried it again and didn't score. And then for the 4th quarter, they pulled out their starting quarterback to play some scrub backup who's been around for a bunch of years. And Jalen Hurts is their future, who was the quarterback. And you can see Jalen Hurts even on the sideline. They show a video of him saying it's not right. and they take him out and basically just threw the game and didn't try to win and let the Redskins win. And then, and obviously Giants fans are upset. And I don't even care so much about the Giants fans or all that stuff. And people will say, oh, you win more than 6 games, the division's pathetic, all that. I just think it's actually pathetic that how can a professional coach do that to his team and expect players that are making millions of dollars, all these fans they have. I understand draft picks and all, but let's face it. And we'll get into it, Travis Turnbull today about draft picks. His father was drafted, and we'll get into it later with him about who was drafted during his draft. But just because you're picked 6th or 9th doesn't mean you're necessarily getting a better player anyway. It's all pot luck in drafts.
Yeah.
But to throw a game basically at that level, especially after all that we've been through this year in the pandemic and the NFL just getting the season off and all of these players have endured, I don't know how that coach can stand in a locker room and face his players after that game and in the future. To me, it's the biggest wussy move I've ever seen. We had it happen, if you remember, Greg, at Winter Wars West this year in California. We had a coach in California on a youth game because the division split, and we get word from one of the rinks, because we had 2 facilities going, that at the end of the game they were not scoring on their own net, but letting the other team just score on their goalie just so they would not win the game and go to the lower bracket. And we've heard rumors that at State Wars, Greg, right? Guys throw a game to go to the lower, which I just can't even fathom how that goes on. But so now we see it at the NFL level with the Eagles. And I'm sorry, I think how that owner doesn't fire that coach after that game, unless he's in cahoots with it, which then I think the NFL should fine that team big time. And why I do think the NFL should have a lottery draft anyway, like the NHL does.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, I thought that was one of the biggest pathetic moves I've seen in a long time in pro sports. And I'm just so disgusted by it.
Yeah, it's terrible on all accounts. These guys, they quarantined during the holidays. They didn't go to I saw their wives' birthday parties, this and that, and stayed home and played it smart. Excuse me?
Thanksgiving they gave up to see family and everything, right?
Stuff like that. They played it smart just so they could play a season, and then to end it like that, it's pathetic. It's pathetic, and the coach should definitely be fired for sure.
Even the NFL, I think they changed the schedule to make that Washington game at the night game to like build up the whole hype of it.
Yeah.
I wish they just would have had both games going at 1:00, same time, just play the games out, not even know what's going on. But I don't know if Peterson, the coach of the Eagles, would have done anything different. Yeah. But it was just so bad. And just as a coach myself, I can't even fathom doing that to my guys. And we're at an amateur level compared to that. Yeah. And all your fans. And again, you see fans, I think it's great and all, but if it was done to them, the Philly fans they'd be burning down Philadelphia right now if the Giants did that or the Cowboys did that to them. So I just think it's really pathetic. But
it wasn't even, like you said, it wasn't even like a rookie quarterback coming in. Like it was an old guy, a guy who's been in the league for years. So
if you're gonna do that, do it from the get-go. I felt like you wait till the 4th quarter. It's almost like spitting in everyone's eye that we're doing this now. And then he stood at the press conference. I don't know if you saw the press conference after the game, and they questioned on it. And he looked in the camera and said, "No," he goes, "We tried to win that game. We tried our best to win that game. It just didn't work out." How you could even look at people and say that? Yep. You're just a liar. Like I just the little hair that I have left, I'm gonna pull out over it. I think Clay Taylor said he must be a Cowboy fan as well. Goaltender tore Mudcats. I'm glad the Cowboys lost too, because if they would have won and then that happened, I'd be going crazier than I am right now. Yep. So it's funny. But yeah, we had a guy, Greg, right here about Midwest Wars. Funny you bring it up. So Midwest Wars, we actually confirmed today, we're actually moving Midwest Wars. We were going to have it April 16th to 18th weekend. And then we found out about a couple really big conflicts. There's a huge CCM ice tournament in the area that weekend. And then I think college nationals might be there for roller hockey as well that weekend. Not there, but that weekend. So we're actually moving it back. We confirmed today to May 14th to 16th. Which that later date gives us, a little more time to ensure that the rinks are open and whatnot, and helps out with some of the pro guys, I think, getting home from or them playing ice hockey possibly, and just makes the things a little bit easier, less conflict. So we'll put an official announcement out, Greg, but May 14th to 16th in Illinois, we're going to have it at 2 rinks again at the Soul Creek rink and also at Mount Prospect.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. Excited for that one. Glad everything worked out and the dates are legit and all set in stone now. So that's good stuff. And I always enjoy a trip out there. We get to see a lot of old friends and our boy Pete Messina as well. So
Oh yeah.
I'm sure we'll see Petey for a night.
And then we announced yesterday by email, we'll say it here again, we for Winter Wars West, we originally had it booked for the end of February with a makeup date in April. And yesterday we said, screw it. California's a mess. We don't think this February date's going to work anyway. Why waste our time with it? So we're just going to have that Winter Wars West in Irvine and Corona, that April 9th to 11th weekend. So for this year, things will get started a little later for us. We'll kick off the year Winter Wars East in Pennsylvania, Marple and Feasterville and everywhere like we usually do. That'll be March 19th to 21st weekend. And then we'll have Winter Wars West, April 9th to 11th in California. And hopefully things will be getting going better then at that point. But let's talk a little about today, Greg. We got a great guest today.
I want to answer Dave Sapienza here quick
Sorry.
before we move on. Dave, usually a month out, so probably around April 14th or so will be our deadline.
Yep.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year, Sap. So let's talk about today's guest. I'm so excited today. We have Travis Turnbull on, Greg. Travis Turnbull plays for the Tour Mudcats. He's had a great tournament this year at State Wars. In my opinion, it might have been the best I've seen him look in the pro division that I remember this year. I thought the Mudcats had an amazing team this year. They could have won it all. He's currently playing right now. We thank him for even coming on today. He's in Germany right now. He plays in the Dell, professional ice hockey out there. So I worked out with his scheduling, the time difference and his ice schedule, whatever, to come on today. So we're so excited to have him and talk about his career. He played actually 3 games in the NHL for the Buffalo Sabres, and his father, who we'll get into, had a crazy big career in the NHL, Perry Turnbull. So we'll talk about that as well, and runs a rink out in Missouri that you know very well, Queenie Park.
Yeah, Queenie Park. Yeah. I know Perry and Queenie Park very well, and some good memories from when I lived in St. Louis. Travis was really, young. He's younger than me, and he was away playing juniors and stuff like that when I was in St. Louis. But I did catch up with Travis a couple times when I was living there, and he's always a good guy to talk to, and he's experienced, and he's had quite a career himself. So majority of his career has been in Europe. Majority Germany. He played a little bit in Sweden, but it's an awesome lifestyle out there, and I'm sure he'll tune in and let us know and how his experience has been, and he must really like it because his family's out there as well. So.
Yeah, it's amazing. We're seeing more and more guys we talk about every week that are professional hockey players that love roller hockey and play. And you mentioned Cam York earlier. I think the Roller Dad News, right? They had a picture of him today. He played at an arch tournament a while back. So that's awesome to see. And, I put it on our Instagram the other day. A guy like Zegras on USA, you see those hands he has and whatnot. I can only imagine him out on the wheels in a roller hockey tournament.
Yeah, he's got phenomenal hands. His hand-eye coordination, his vision. Last year he led the tournament, I think, in assists, and this year he led the tournament in points, and I guess he's tied with Schroeder with most points in USA hockey history. So that's a cool milestone for him. So he's got a bright future in Anaheim.
That warm-up drill they showed in that video we posted with all those moves and everything. I mean, I'm sure the John Chavos, the Etan Chaveras, the Johnny Seamers, all those guys that love doing all that stuff, I'm sure they were watching that and going, wow, we got to try some of this stuff. I mean, some of that stuff was pretty impressive considering, on the ice there before the game, all the pressure going on. But he got some crazy hands, that kid. It's great seeing. I see a lot of the ads lately. Mars Blade's doing some awesome stuff. Joe Cook, Mars Blade, they have a lot of ads to Austin Matthews wheeling around. So who knows? Maybe a little Austin Matthews Palmer Pro this summer, Greg. If Joe Cook's got that up his sleeve, that'd be pretty nasty.
Yeah, I doubt that's in his contract. That'd be pretty cool to see. He's played a lot of roller hockey, I think, in Arizona with some of the Connex guys. But I think he's friends with Alex McDonald, really close with him. So it'd be awesome to see, but just don't see it happening in the near future. Maybe 35 and over.
Maybe I'll get him on my young team. He hasn't played in the pro yet. He's got to prove himself. We talked about the last couple of weeks, me coaching a younger team in the pro division this year, and it's actually getting a lot of traction now, Greg. We're starting to get emails from some players or parents sending in resumes of their kids and talking about them and whatnot. So it's going to be a tough go selecting that team, but definitely really excited about it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be pretty fun stuff. And when I watch these young players on the junior team play for USA and Canada and Finland and Russia and all of them, makes me think of that. Like those young guys just bring so much energy and speed to the game. And the way the game is called now, it's not a real physical game. I think if you put the right team together, they might turn some heads a little bit.
Yeah, of course. I mean, just like the NHL, it's a young man's game. It's all about speed, and these guys are highly skilled. I mean, they play hockey almost every day, right? So, I think they're ready to play. I think they'll be fine. It's just a matter of getting comfortable with one another. I think that's the part, meshing a little bit. So,
No, 100%. All right. Without further ado, though, I know he's waiting for us here. Travis Turnbull. Let's bring him in all the way from Germany and see what he's got going on. There he is, Travis Turnbull.
Hey guys, how you doing?
I don't know if that's the right song that you guys play out there. I was trying to play some music from your team out there, and that's what I found. But
that might be our goal song. Honestly, we've only
Yeah.
had one home game so far, so I'm not
Okay.
sure. But yeah, guys, good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Trev. I know it's pretty late there. I know you got the kids and all, so I'm sure it's tough.
Oh, it's
appreciate
fine. They're in the bath right now. Their mom's in there. So I locked the door in our bedroom, and we're all good.
all right, gets you out of doing some chores, so that's a good thing. So
Yeah, definitely.
So Travis, we're excited to have you. Obviously, you have a pretty crazy career. You've been a part of the sport forever, and obviously we're going to talk a little bit about your whole career, ice and roller wise. So, I mean, we know, your dad was an NHLer, and we'll get a little bit into him a little bit. So obviously, usually the first question I ask is what got you into playing hockey, and I think that's probably no brainer with you, your dad, right?
Yeah, absolutely. To be honest with you, I don't remember not playing hockey. I guess I started skating in Italy. My oldest daughter right now, she's 5. She's skating over here in Germany. Never asked her if she wanted to get on skates or anything, but for Christmas this year, she said she wanted some gear and she wanted to get out there. But she's been on the roller wheels for a couple of years now, and she's getting good.
That's awesome. That was going to be one of my questions for you, Travis. Obviously your dad had a pretty long career, and towards the end, he played over in I think Bolzano, Italy, and I forget where else. But
yeah, sorry, what'd you say?
Did the family move over there with him?
Yeah. So we were there. I started school in Italy, actually. That's where I started playing hockey as well, skating, not team wise, but yeah. So I mean, it's life of a hockey player.
Right. So I know he was playing in Winnipeg when you were born. Were you in Winnipeg also, like for that part of your life also?
Yeah. So we were in Winnipeg. I was born in the summer. My birthday's in July, so St. Louis has always been the home base. But then he got traded back to the Blues and then Italy. So, but we always kind of kept our place in St. Louis, for a home base, which is always nice.
Before we get into your ice career, I just want, we're talking about your dad for a second. For those at home that don't know Travis or who his dad was, so his dad, Perry Turnbull, had a pretty illustrious career in the NHL, played over 600 games in the NHL, scored 188 goals, 351 points, 1,245 penalty minutes. So he definitely threw him down a little bit back when you had to be pretty badass to be throwing him down then. It's not like today's game back then. So pretty crazy stuff to be that kind of player back then. And what's most impressive when I look, and I never even realized this, number 2 draft pick overall in the first round in the 79 draft. And then Travis, I go back and I look at it, I see Mike Gartner picked after him, Ray Bourque picked after him. I think Mark Messier was in the 3rd round, and no disrespect to Perry, like those are some pretty big names picked after him. So just goes to show you never know where you drafted. Like it doesn't really matter. It matters of what happens after that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's never, they don't really know, when you're too young, especially nowadays. I think it's even harder. Back then it was really, the major junior leagues were top and college wasn't as good. Now they're both competitive, and you have all these different divisions in college and all these different leagues and good players coming out of the USHL and just really kind of all over the map. So it makes their job difficult, but it's it's tough. It's tough when you draft guys so young.
Especially nowadays, you see parents get so caught up in, oh, my kid's got to be a first round draft pick. It's got to be, and all they get so focused on all that wrong stuff. And like you said, players develop at so many different ages and levels nowadays. So
yeah, definitely.
Right?
Yeah, and my dad, he was more of a, I'm more of a late bloomer, than him. Obviously, him being 6'4", over 200 pounds, at 17, 18 years old and could skate. I mean, no wonder he went, so high. And, obviously you see his stats, over 30 goals and over 200 penalty minutes. Most of the years he played in the league, he still had a pretty amazing career. Especially he didn't have a lot of power play time either. He never told me that. Some of his buddies did. So I have a lot of respect for my dad. He doesn't talk about his career too much, never talks about himself. But I usually, can get the scoop out of, some of his friends. Nice pick there.
So was this one of your first leagues here, Trav?
Yeah, Creve Coeur. I think that was my first. I think that was my first AA team there, Creve Coeur.
Yeah, what's funny about this picture is, the old Easton aluminum stick. It looks like it was cut down at the bottom there. It must have been a broken stick from the rink or something, or your dad's old stick that you squeezed in there. But those sticks were always pretty legendary, and they never broke. That was the best thing about them.
They bend one way, you flip them around, and bend them in.
Your dad wore number 9, right? Travis, right? So number 9, obviously, when you started out.
Yeah, I wore number 9 pretty much my entire career till I got our affiliation switched to Rochester. 9 was retired. Came over to Europe, couldn't get it, and so I started wearing 71 over here, and I've worn that ever since.
And go figures, the one guy in the Mudcats you're probably not going to fight for number 9 has got to be CJ Yoda too, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
There goes that.
Nobody should wear number 9 except CJ.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Now, Trav, your dad also played in the RHI as well for the Vipers, and then I think he kind of took a managerial type position with them. Was he a coach as well?
Yeah, he was the head coach there.
Yeah.
So
were you around the rink a lot? And
oh yeah, I was around. I remember my favorite player was Christian Scarina and CJ, and those two were my favorites. And I remember just being around the rink, and CJ said, it's funny, we've been playing together for years now, but I was just a little kid running around. And
so funny to think about.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I mean, to be honest with you, I love roller hockey just as much as ice. If I could play in more tournaments, I would. Sometimes my schedule doesn't line up, but this year, with the season getting pushed back, I got to play in a couple more tournaments, and it's been nice. I'm really trying to play as much as I can. I think it's great for my ice hockey game. I think it's, obviously I love playing. I love the Mudcats guys. They're all just great guys. And, I think that we do have the ability to win. It's really hard. There's a lot of good teams, but I think in the near future that, we're going to be tougher and tougher to beat.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Now I look at your career now, Travis, on the ice. You start out in the USHL for a couple of years, and I think I saw a post yesterday that we talked about the Team USA winning last night, the junior team. I think 23 players on that team have played in the USHL. So obviously it's a great feeder program. And then you went and played at University of Michigan for 4 years, which is obviously an amazing school. 166 games played, 40 goals, 50 assists, 90 points. Speak for a minute about your time playing for college at University of Michigan.
Yeah, well, Red Berenson, as I'm sure you know, was our coach there, and gosh, I learned so much there. Not only,
so he was also your dad's coach with the Blues, right?
He was. So I'll backtrack just a little bit real quick here. So I was actually drafted to London Knights. I was pretty hell bent on going and playing in London. I always thought it'd be cool to play in Michigan, at Michigan. But I went up to London for that 48 hours I was allowed to go. Had a really good camp. There was Corey Perry there, and all these big names. Rick Nash was just there, and I thought it suited my game pretty well. Went back, played a game in Chicago, had a really good night. Talked to Red Berenson after the game a little bit. Went on a visit, and that was history. So he really swayed me to come. He said, "You know what? If you don't make it, at least you'll have an education. I'm not saying you won't. I believe you will, but just come check it out and talk to some of the guys and see how it is."
Now, did you have a little bit of a relationship with him because you knew your dad from when he coached your dad?
No, I never had a relationship with him
Okay.
until he came to watch me. We were playing Chicago Steel. Had a good game, and that was pretty much it. He made it's tough to say no to Red Berenson.
Did you know he was there? Did you know he was there? Did you know he was there before the game?
I did not know he was there. No. I'd heard there were some scouts there. There was a couple other ones, Michigan State and a couple other schools as well. But Michigan was a place that I always thought would be pretty amazing to go to. So I'm very fortunate to get that opportunity.
So did it live up to his expectations playing there?
Yeah. So back to before I got sidetracked there before, it was the best of the best. Like I can't, and I'm not just talking about like all the material things in the locker room. And of course those were all amazing as well, but it was really just the mindset there. There was this kind of swag that, we're here to win. If we don't win, it's a disappointment, but we're also here to grow as human beings. And it was just kind of this like mixture of growing as a human, but also like, getting, learning all these things that are so valuable for just life in general. And I'm very, very fortunate to have gotten the opportunity to play there.
That's great. So after that, obviously, you went on to some pro hockey.
Yeah.
In Portland, which was obviously the Sabres affiliate team before they moved over to Rochester.
Yeah.
And then you got some games in the Sabres. What was that like, and how did you get the call up? Where were you?
Yeah. So signed with the Sabres. Went there, played a little bit after the first year, got a little taste, which I think was really good. Next year, went to camp, had kind of a typical, rookie season, played mostly on the third and fourth line, a little bit of PK, had to earn my stripes. Back then, it was really about, giving the older guys, catering to those guys because they deserve it. They've earned it. And I still think it should be that way to an extent. Unless you have, some certain special players. Anyways, went there, and then, our coach was Kevin Deneen. I think he was a great coach for me as well. Really, taught me a lot. Unfortunately, I got injured. I tore my shoulder. I missed 60 games the next year when I started the season on a top line and had a really good camp and showing in camp with the Sabres. I played against Ottawa in a preseason game, played really, really well, played a lot of minutes, went down, had a good start, injured, basically out for the season. I came back for a couple games. And then next year when I came back, I had to start all over, fourth line again, work my way up. They actually didn't even give me the housing letter when we went to Rochester. Told me they wanted to wait, whether that was for my shoulder injury or whatever. It's tough to come back after missing a year. But I was determined, and I started on the fourth line, and I finished in the NHL that season. So, but I had to really, fight for it every night. You can't take a shift off. You can't take a game off. I was fighting guys I shouldn't have been fighting. I was doing everything I could to help the team.
Now, at that point, Travis, like, how much do you enjoy? Like, obviously, fighting's got to take its toll too, right? Just the physical part of it. I mean, would you, if you could have not had to do that and just been purely an offensive player, is that more like what you enjoy more, or do you like that other side of it also?
I don't mind the other side of it. To be honest with you, I kind of wish I would have, because some of the time when you show people that you can play an abrasive style, they automatically think in their head, oh, he'd be good on the third line, or he'd be
Yeah,
good,
right.
right? And then you're fighting, and he can do this. Well, I'm really not a grinder. I have a lot more skill than I think sometimes I showed because I got a little bit caught up in that stuff. But for me, I wanted to do anything it would take to make it to the NHL, and it wasn't easy. It was hard. But
I had a kid I coached years ago, Danny Genovese from New York. He's an 85, and he had played out in the BCHL, and he was a big boy, right, Greg? I mean, big kid. And I remember him saying, yeah, one game he got into a fight and he beat the shit out of some tough guy. And he was like, after that, the coach was basically like, you got to do this every night now. Like, and it became
yeah,
like, and he didn't want to do that, but it became what he had to do all the time now. And it kind of changed his whole game, and it kind of fizzled out eventually for him. But yeah, I could see that point where once you do it, it's like they're expecting it, and you almost get
yeah.
labeled a little bit.
Yeah, you do for sure. My advice to younger players would be, obviously show that skill, because not everybody can fight either. But I think just sometimes I got a little bit caught up in it. But it is what it is, and I'm happy with the way my career's gone. And I've been able to showcase my skill over here in Europe, and playing roller forever my whole life. It's not like I'm just a grinder. I love working on my game on the wheels as well. I do it all summer. I actually got you'll love this. I have a team, which actually is how we got Michael Hunterbrinker into roller hockey. My whole workout group with my trainer, Jeff Lavecchio, who also played roller growing up, is we started our own roller team at my dad's rink at Queenie. We got, Johnny Ramage is out there, whose dad was actually the first overall pick that year. We got Philip McRae, Michael Hunterbrinker. We just got a bunch of alumni kids and ice hockey guys that really see how great roller hockey is. And I'll tell you that Michael Hunterbrinker, he's addicted to it. He's one of my best friends. He can't wait to play. I knew he'd be good. I didn't know he'd be that good.
Good.
But we have really good chemistry. So I think a big pickup for the Cats, and I think it's great for his career too. And these guys love it. A lot of ice guys, for that kind of generation we grew up in. Oh, if you play roller, then it might mess up your ice. Like, if you're a good player, you should be able to play both. And I think that's a bad excuse. So I'm glad that these guys are now seeing that it's beneficial.
So does that mean the Mudcats are going to pick up a couple other guys from your Queenie team, or what?
I don't know yet. We'll see. Probably not. We got a stacked roster with the Cats. It's hard to get on the Cats here. And, all the guys that we have on that.
Oh, I think he hung up on us.
He hit something, and he'll have to come back to us here. Hold on, we'll wait for him a second here. It was starting to get a little shaky with him, so maybe it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like he was saying, I could see that, Greg. I think Pat Maroon's been like that a little bit too, right? Like, he came to the league, you're fighting, right? It's not easy, Hopefully here he's coming back here.
Sorry, guys.
No, we lost you for a second. We'll wait to see you. You're not back on fully yet. Hold on.
Okay.
Just got the audio going.
We got your audio, and we just see a nice picture of you and your wife on a nice scenic German picture right now.
Is my video not coming up? Hold on one
Oh,
second.
I sent you a thing. You asked to start video. Let's see if you got that.
Okay, sorry about that. Our internet here sometimes isn't the best. Huh. It says stop video. Should I stop my video and restart? Maybe.
Oh, try it.
Try that.
You got me?
Nope.
Not yet. We hear you.
Yeah, we could just do audio. Worst case.
Did you get a thing for me about starting video?
Where would that be at?
I don't know. I just sent a thing. It clearly says asked to start. Try to do. Travis, do you see 3 little dots in the upper right corner by chance of the box where your thing is? Like if you
Yep,
you
I do.
scroll over the screen of where the box for yours would be, it might have a little box mic up here with 3 little dots. Do you see that?
Yeah. It says stop video, so I think my video is like on. But it's not
Okay, I mean,
working.
We can hear you, so we can keep going here. So it's not the biggest deal. I mean, you're a handsome guy, but we don't have to see you the whole time.
I can take my tooth out now.
All right.
Uh,
I noticed, Travis, when I
Yeah,
did a
so-
little research about the Wild Wings where you're playing now, it was interesting to see that it said on it that the home club of the team is the Ice and Roller Sports Club, which also competes in junior and senior division and owns a figure skate and an inline hockey department. Are you aware of that?
I guess we lost him fully.
What if I remove him? Can he come back on? Let me see here. Try to remove him there. Well, I won't be able to rejoin. I don't want to do that then.
Well, he could click on the link, right?
Yeah, I don't think you can. I don't think you can rejoin.
Sorry, guys. I heard what you, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Right. So I was not aware, but a lot of the major rinks here, actually roller hockey is starting to grow pretty big here in Germany.
Yeah. I mean, over the years, going to the IHF tournaments, they always had a lot of the high-end ice guys from the Dell League playing, like Michael Wolf. I'm sure you heard that name before.
Yeah, Wolfie, yeah.
A couple other guys from Ingolstadt as well. Starts with
see
a
you now.
G. Yeah, there we go, Trav. Grenier or something like that. I think he played for Ingolstadt for a little while. But yeah, they had some real good guys. And then
Greilinger.
yeah, Greilinger. Yeah, he was a little older at the time, but he had a bomb.
Yeah. I won a championship with him in Ingolstadt, actually. That's where
Okay.
we won it. He's a player. He is a player.
He's a hometown favorite too, isn't he?
Yeah, oh yeah. That's pretty cool you guys played in Ingolstadt. What a small world it is, eh?
Yeah, they had world championships there a couple times, and the crowds there were always phenomenal. I mean, always packed the place out.
Yeah, gosh, I would love to play some roller there. It'd be awesome.
Brad, maybe you could pick up that Tim Schitzel kid or whatever to come play with the Mudcats for the summer. That'd be a nice pickup.
Yeah. You know what? He is, wow. That guy is a good player. I actually called my agent last year. It was like first 3 games of the season. We're actually playing Mannheim tomorrow, which is his team. I'm not sure what the deal is with him, if he's staying in Ottawa or if he's going to be there or not. But we played him, and his skating ability and skill is just out of this world. So I called my agent right away, and they said, "You need to watch this guy." And he goes, "Yeah, he's already. It hasn't been announced yet, but he's going to go first round." I said, "Okay." Good.
He is pretty nasty. So Trav, you played on a couple different teams out in Germany. You played a little bit in Sweden as well. You played in Dusseldorf, Ingolstadt, Cologne. Was it Israelon?
Israelon, yeah.
Straubing, and then now Schwenningen.
Yep.
You were named captain this year. This is your first time on the team, and you were named captain. I mean, I think that's pretty damn impressive.
Oh,
Real
thank
impressive.
you.
Real impressive.
Well, I actually so the coach that we have here is the coach I won the championship with in Ingolstadt.
Mhm.
He's actually the reason why I was in Cologne and why I was in a couple of different places. So he's a great coach. He's a Swedish coach. So we've known each other and had relationships for a long time. And actually, the GM was our coach and GM in Dusseldorf as well. So there's a lot of familiarity there with the guys. They know that my passion for winning is. I'm sure you guys can see in the roller tournaments. I'm very winning driven, and I try to do my best to be the best team guy I can, and try to help motivate guys and lead both vocally and on the floor, on the ice.
Yeah, I saw that C on the jersey. I wasn't sure if that was a captain or just some ad for some company that started with a C, because there's so many ads all over the jerseys out there.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's That's unreal.
Obviously, we got into Germany a little bit, but I want to go back for a second, back to your NHL experience. And, you know, in your 3 games, you did score a goal. And that was against our team, our home team, the New York Rangers, against Henrik Lundqvist. I couldn't find any video on that. I'm sure you have something at home.
Don't look it up. Breakaway bar down. Don't even look it up.
Was it a deflection? It was a deflection, I think.
No, actually, I was trying to. I chipped it in. I went in. I won the race, and I heard Brad Boyce saying behind you, so I kind of just tried to throw it out, and it hit that 34 right there, and the skate and went 5-hole. So
I think that's
not the prettiest goal, but I'll take it.
yeah.
Was that at the Garden or was that in Buffalo?
That was at Madison Square Garden.
The Garden, right? I thought so. Okay, that's awesome. That'd be a good place to score your first goal.
It was pretty special too, and I was playing against one of my best buddies, Carl Hagelin. We played together at Michigan, and we were skating around and warm up.
I was going to ask about him because I loved him on the Rangers. So I was going to ask if you knew at Michigan that he was pretty special or not.
Yeah, you know what? He was my line mate junior and senior year. I was playing with him and another guy named Louis Caparuso. Just great guy. I mean, Carl is a specimen.
Fast, right?
We do these races up the stadium stairs at the Big House, where the Michigan football team plays, for anybody who doesn't know. And he never lost a race in 4 years. Although I will say I might have beat him once, but they gave it. No, he crushed everybody. And he's just
fast on the ice too, boy.
Yeah, he's just a really hardworking guy who just outworks everybody and has earned his way into the NHL. A very deserving guy and great.
And I think him and Lundqvist became pretty good buddies, if I remember it, because they're both Swedes. And I remember being at a game one time, and we were in the back area with some people we knew, and I saw those two guys were kind of off together. It seemed like they were good friends.
It usually ends up that way, the guys from the same country usually.
Right.
Even over here, the American guys, it's nice to, speak your native language.
Now, is that unusual, Travis, for a guy from Sweden to be playing at Michigan?
Yeah, you know what? He went to the Red Berenson hockey camp when he was a young kid, and that's kind of how they started their relationship.
Okay.
Because there's not many. I mean, there's more coming over now, with all the video and everything that they have now. But back then, I mean, you were taking a pretty big gamble taking somebody if you hadn't seen him play.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Now, your time in Germany, Trav, you were invited to Team USA for the Spengler Cup.
Yeah.
Now, how was that experience, and what was your team like there, and where did you guys play?
So actually the Deutschland Cup, and it was in Augsburg, Germany.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was in Augsburg, Germany, and it was a great experience. Actually, Tortorella was supposed to be our coach there, right before he signed with Columbus. But yeah, just really good players, and just what an honor, to be picked for that team. I remember getting the call like it was yesterday. Pretty exciting. When I was younger, I never got to go to any USA camps. I went to the USA festivals, but I never even got to go to tryouts for the, Team USA and TDP. I never got a sniff for World Juniors or anything like that. And, you talk about not knowing back then how players are going to be. Most of those players are done and have been done and never went anywhere, and I really, I just kind of used that to motivate me, and, just really wanted to wear those colors. And, it was important to me to work for and something to look forward to. And it was pretty amazing to achieve that.
When you were at University of Michigan, I know TJ Hensick played with you there, right? Also, who was a big roller player when he was younger for Michigan.
Yeah. I love TJ. Great guy. Actually, there's quite a few guys: Kevin Porter, Chad Kalarick, Scooter Vaughn. We played actually one tournament. We played at Joe Dumars when I was there. Our team was stacked with ice guys, but you know how that is. You need to play a little bit of roller. Even me jumping into one tournament when my dad's owned a roller rink is not easy.
Right.
these
Right.
these
Right.
roller players are good, So yeah, we had half Michigan State, half Michigan team, and we did well, but it was we didn't win it, but it was cool.
That's
With
awesome.
that USA team you were on, what did they pick? American players that were living over in Europe at the time? Is that how they kind of select that team, or?
Yeah, so they pick USA play. Well, actually, we had a couple players. We had Jim Slater, who actually played roller.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember Slater. I played with him actually at Queenie at that tournament there a long time ago.
Yeah, because he played for the Bauer team from Ohio. He's from, I think, Cleveland area. And he played for Columbus for quite a few years, correct? Or Thrashers?
He played for the Thrashers. He played for Winnipeg.
Yeah.
He played for quite a few teams. So yeah, we had him. That wasn't playing on a team. But they usually just pick all the best players out. That they think are the best players out of all the top leagues. So KHL. Most of our team is KHL, Germany, Sweden, and Switzerland.
That's awesome. So let's forget about this ice hockey crap for a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. I love roller. I love
Yeah.
to talk about roller.
There's some good shots. Greg has got you there. It's amazing to me. I feel like your numbers always change. Like some guys are so superstitious. I love seeing you have different numbers and whatnot. I think it's so awesome that you're not always the same number. But let's talk State Wars a little bit. So the Palma Pro Division, our first year was 2015, unveiling this new division to make it the best pro division in the world. Here you are with the Mudcats that first year. You guys actually didn't make the playoffs that year. You had 5 goals, led the team in goals, 7 points that year. And then a couple years, like you talked about, it's always hard for you sometimes with your ice season when we start to be able to play all the time. So you didn't get to play for a couple of years, and you were back in 2018. And I believe we were in St. Louis that year. You guys did pretty well. You had a really good team that year. I remember. I think you went 3-1 in the round robin, and then you lost to Rinkrad in the quarterfinals, which I was surprised. I remember. I thought you guys were really on your way at that point. I remember you guys kicking the shit out of us. We had a battle with the Snipers. And I'm going to talk for a minute about you that game. And we joked around about this on a prior podcast, but we were playing you guys, and I'm not sure if you remember. You've played a million hockey games since then.
I'm sure he remembers.
But we're playing this guy for everyone at home, and we're playing the Mudcats, and for whatever reason, you know how it is. Teams just don't match up well with certain teams. The Mudcats just have our number, and they had beaten us the year before in 17 or 16, I think, and then in 18 we're playing these guys, and it was a high score. I think the final score ended up being 8-5, which was pretty high scoring. So you got Redmond and Leggett, 2 of the best in the business in goal. But we're playing these guys, Greg, and I know you remember this. And, Rowan Porter on our team, who's the chirper, and his role on our team is kind of to get other teams riled up a little bit. He starts chirping Travis out there. And I don't remember what he said, but he just woke us sleeping lying. And Travis just went nuts, and he scored 2 goals. One of them, you scored a rocket on the power play, and then you buried the sword and basically pointed at our bench, and I could just tell you were on fire. And I was ready to kill Rowan on the bench for waking you up like that. Any recollection of that game at all?
Oh yeah, I remember the game. Well, first of all, as you guys know, I'm friends with a lot of guys in the Snipers, and I respect the Snipers tremendously. I mean, I think for me it's motivation. Playing the better teams. I like to beat the better teams more than you care about beating a team that you should beat. It's Snipers games are always a battle. Like you said, and yeah, he lit me on fire. Actually, what he did was he cellied right in front of me and went, wow, right in my face. And I don't take kindly to that. So, I might have got a little out of hand with my cellies as well. But there's a lot of emotions. I don't blame him.
It's part of the game.
Yeah, you should have seen me last game on the ice here too. Some guy was got me going a little bit too, but it's all part of the game. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Now last year, 2020, in my opinion, I thought the Mudcats. I won't say the best Mudcat team I've ever seen, because that'd be a broad statement to say and a big statement, but in recent times, I would make an argument that the way you guys looked at State Wars this year in the Palma Pro was the best I've seen the Mudcats. And your boy Humphrey, you brought up before, was a big part of that addition. And some of these young guys, you got Galt and Frank, and you had Merchants in this tournament. So you had some young blood coming in, and you looked as good as I've ever seen you. And you had Larry come back, and CJ, the ageless wonder or whatever. And I thought Taylor really stepped it up in goal without legs being there. And you guys, to me, I was worried about you guys just from my standpoint with the snipers. And, you guys won the first playoff round. You beat Alkali, which is a great team. And, the Roadrunners knocked you out in the semis. And obviously the Roadrunners went on to the finals. But if I was a betting man at that point, I had you guys going to the championship, maybe winning it all.
Yeah, I think, the Roadrunners, obviously, when they get a lead, they can, they play a certain style that's difficult. And their goalie played unbelievable. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I think I probably had 6 or 7 just grade A chances that normally, at least a couple go in. So you gotta, tip your cap to the Roadrunners there in that game, and they had a good team as well. And that's hockey; it happens. I was furious. I was furious because I thought, we had a good chance to win as well. Now, like I said before, roller hockey is difficult. It's really tough to win. And that's why, I have so much respect for the snipers, because a lot of it, I think, is a mindset too. And when I came to the Mudcats, we had a couple, tough years, the first couple years. And I just think we've been getting better and better. And I think a lot of that is, the relationships with the guys there. And, Hunter Brinker was huge for us as well, and he's going to keep getting better and better. I mean, he's lighting up the East Coast League right now. I actually would love to see him over here in Germany with me at some point. I think, our chemistry there, me and him, is a big factor in that as well. And just, having a great team, CJ and LB, our power play unit was clicking well, and Clay was great in that. And, I could name the whole roster, guys contributing at the right times. It wasn't just one guy, and that's what you need to win. When you play the snipers and White's there and Combs is there and, Combs, it's tough, because, somebody's going to score. Somebody's going to be going, right?
Had you ever played in that Allen County War Memorial Coliseum before that tournament, Travis, with ice?
I've never played there, but I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. So,
but Trav, with that being said, what do the Mudcats have to do, you think, to finally, raise that Palma Pro trophy?
I have a good feeling, this year is going to be a year we're going to take another step forward here. I mean, before I was just kind of jumping in and playing, when I could, but now I'm really, really taking it serious. And, not that I wasn't before when I was putting on the Mudcat jersey, but enough is enough, the losing, in my eyes. So I'm going to be ready. I know the rest of the guys are, but we know it's an uphill battle. There's a lot of good teams, but I think we've added some more firepower, and I think that's what we needed. So,
so obviously you grew up playing roller hockey. Your dad, owns a roller hockey rink in St. Louis. And then, you played a lot, and then you took some years off, I think mainly to really, get your ice hockey game down and get mentally prepared for that and stuff like that. And then you ended up coming back into the game years later. I'm sure you still skated a little bit at the rink here and there, but nothing too serious. But you guys started that Leader One Pro team for a little while, and you have a lot of high-end ice hockey players on that team, and guys didn't do too well. And did the team dismantle, and then you hopped on the Mudcats, or?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. So the only reason I've ever not played in roller hockey tournaments is because of my injuries that I've had to, rehab during the summers and stuff. I had that shoulder injury. I had a torn groin. Might be a little bit irresponsible if I wasn't fully, healed. And also, you're not going to help your team if you're hurt anyways. Or else I would have been out there. Cause like I said, I love roller, my dad having Queenie, I think roller's even more fun than ice at times. And Yeah, the Leader One team, basically it was just a bunch of guys at Queenie that I think some guys, wanted to, put a team together. I said, sure, let's go. Let's see how it is. But I knew it was going to be difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, wasn't the best showing for the guys, but it's tough to just jump in there one tournament. It takes a long time, to win.
Yep.
I'm sure it's got to be frustrating too, Travis, sometimes with these ice guys, especially if they have a little bit of an ego where they know they play at a certain level and they come down and some guy who they say, oh, Greg Thompson, you haven't played ice hockey. He's going around me like, fuck this bullshit, right? So I'm sure it tests their ego a little bit too if they can't skate as well on the wheels, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's, like I said before, like there's a lot of really good roller hockey players that have never even played ice. I mean, I look around when I play, I don't know some of these guys, but I know that they can play. So
Right.
I'm always really, really just fascinated by how good some of the skill is on some of these players, and I have respect for them for sure.
Now, is it hard for you, Travis, knowing the kind of player you are, take away the skill, but you are that physical presence on the ice and you've had to drop them? And is it hard sometimes to have to turn that part of your game off in roller when you see someone do something stupid or whatever and you're like, I'm going to kill this guy? Is it a hard thing, or is it just because you played roller so much, it's not that big of a deal for you?
No, I think I care more about winning than punching somebody in the mouth. If it's going to hurt my team, I'm not going to do something stupid ever.
Right.
Um, that being said, though, I think sometimes there's a little bit of disrespect from some guys saying things. Uh, I have a rule: you don't trip somebody you don't know, and usually it's people tripping me that don't know me.
Right.
You might end up, in a situation where you don't want to be, if you do that. But that's not what I want to do. I want to win and I want to play. I don't want to be out there fighting guys. So
Yeah, I mean the tournaments are so short, and to get suspended for a game or two, it's like it's not even worth it.
no, it's not. Like I said, like it's winning is the most important thing to me. And but yeah, I mean it's tough sometimes to control your emotions for sure. But I'm pretty good at that. I've been doing it for a long time. My coach, even last game here on the ice, was like, just settle down, ball, settle down. I'm like, I'm fine. It gets me going. Like, don't worry.
I mean, looking at your numbers, for ice hockey, looks like your PIMs are kind of dwindling these days.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason for that, actually. It's 2, 2, and 10 now if you get in a fight.
Oh, okay.
And you only get 3. Then you get suspended. So
Yeah.
And you're getting older.
I save them. Yeah. When I get older, I get meaner, though. I think I'm getting meaner as I'm getting older. Some guys get softer, I think, but I, for some reason, get meaner. I don't know why.
Well, it's funny when we had CJ Yoder on the podcast, we talked about the incident into that black ice game where PJ DiMartino kind of flicked the puck towards your bench and everything erupted. And CJ was the first one to grab him. And he told us that he told him, hey, I'm grabbing you here because you don't want Turnbull grabbing you. So just consider yourself lucky right now.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of those things where I will lose it. You can't do stuff like that. I mean, and he's a great player. He doesn't need to be doing stuff like that. To me, it just pissed me off. But I'm going to play black ice a little harder now for as long as I'm playing, just because of that. So.
Speaking of getting older, Travis, you're eligible for the 35 and over division this year at State Wars. Being in the hometown, last week we had George Collins on. There's a lot on the line. They got the Car Shield, Mud Snakes, 35s. I don't know if they've come knocking yet, but I might see you out there wheeling around in 35 also this year. I
think there's a chance you're going to see me, depending on when our season starts and when we have to be back. But
right.
I'm all in with roller. I want to play as much as I can, and I just I have a blast playing, and I think it helps my ice game as well. So why not?
It'd be funny seeing you flying around out in 35s with guys like Brucey or Kramer. And speaking of crazy guy, Kyle Kramer and you out there on the line could be pretty nasty.
That would be pretty sweet. I played with Kyle quite a few times, a couple tournaments with the Snipers, and geez, he's still a player too. Wow.
Yeah.
He told me a lot, oh, I don't think I'm as good anymore. I'm like, you kidding me, man? You can fly and snipe. Like he's a real great player. And I
He
love
got to be pretty good on the ice too. No, he got to be pretty good on the ice, right,
He
Kramer?
was really good. He was really good on the ice. You know, like it's just a tough. You never know. There's a lot of guys that get lost in the system. You know,
Yeah.
back to Michael Hunterbrinker. Like he's in the East Coast League. I think he's a guy who, you know, could definitely potentially play in the NHL in the right situation. It is what it is. You know, and you just gotta take it as you go.
Yep.
And just keep playing.
Now, Trav, any hint on, maybe what 35-hour team you're going to be playing on? Are you entering your own team, maybe with like Saman and, O'Leary and the boys, or what?
Can't say yet. We'll see.
I'm thinking Car Shield.
I don't know. We'll see.
So let's talk Oktoberfest a little bit here, Travis. Is it as great as I hear? I mean, Greg got to go 1 year out there. Haven't been yet. Is it as great? I mean, I hear about Lake of the Ozarks a lot in Missouri. So how great is Oktoberfest?
Oh man, October it's a blast. It is. I mean, it is exactly what that picture is. You know, behind you, guys. You know, standing, the singing and the chanting and all that is cool. You know, the culture here is just really cool. I mean, we had there's a smaller Oktoberfest in Straubing where I played last year. It's called Gebäudensvolksfest. And I thought that was even more fun than Oktoberfest. There wasn't as many like crazy tourists, and it was wild. So yeah, a lot of fun. You know, I got a couple lederhosens. Let me see if I got one.
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to wear one.
You want me to throw this baby on? There we go.
Yeah.
I wear no shirt. I wear no shirt with it though.
They're pretty expensive too, right?
Oh yeah, I think I paid like 500 euros. Yeah, I don't know why, but I went with the German guy who told me what to get. So, but I've been here 9 years. So I think I got it in my second year.
So has your German come a long way now? Writing, speaking, everything, all those years being there? Are you pretty good now?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I actually passed my B1, which is the B1 test. You can take it after 7 years, and I actually got my German passport now. So really hard test. It was like 4 hours long in German. It was super hard, but I've been fortunate enough to play on some teams where they paid for some personal lessons for us. So I took advantage of those.
That's great.
How about the family? Are the girls learning any German?
So Bradley, my oldest, she was in Kita, so it's like kind of a preschool thing. She was doing okay with German, but now with Corona and the lockdown and all that stuff, she's really, kind of losing it. So it's tough. It's been a tough year for them too. You know, they're always locked up. I mean, luckily we have a lot of snow here. We're 45 minutes north of Zurich, Switzerland, in the Black Forest, the Schwarzwald. So we get a lot of snow here, and we were out twice today in the snow doing stuff. So at least we got that. But yeah, I'd like
Where are you guys at with the pandemic there and the lockdown? What are they at with Germany?
It's pretty locked down right now. Yeah, I think you're only allowed, outside of the rink, you're only allowed one other person in your household at this point. Pretty much everything's closed except the grocery stores, essential businesses. So it's been a little bit tough, mentally, more so for, my wife and kids than me. I get to go to the rink and see the boys and, go play some road games. But it's weird. Like usually we would go and stay the night before in a hotel and have good sleep. But now we're having, 4.5 hour bus trips and then playing and then getting on and busing home. But to be honest, I'm just grateful to be playing.
Right. Now, has it been that strict all along, or is this like a new thing with the winter, like the holiday time again?
So yeah, it's gotten worse with this time. This one's the worst lockdown it has been. When I first got here, it was same kind of thing. You could eat and drink on patios, and go to the hardware stores and even clothing stores and stuff. But now it's all locked down.
Yeah, that's how it kind of is. Obviously, United States. It was hard, and then it kind of softened up for a while. And they said come holiday time, especially New York, the colder weather, you're indoors more, the numbers are going to go up. So now here everything's gotten stricter again, and almost you got to hope for, change in the next 4 months, whether vaccines and warmer weather and whatever it is. It's just been real frustrating for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. My heart goes out to all the people with their small businesses that have, just
Yeah.
had a really hard time. And, I know it's been tough for my old man, with his rink and them not being able to be open as well. So, I mean, luckily he's had a stabilized business for a long time, but like, it's just really tough for all these people in America and all over the world with small businesses.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Do you love Germany overall though? Out of everywhere you've been, like, is Germany like a second home to you at this point?
Yeah, it is. I love Germany. It's obviously can't experience it to the fullest here, this year. But it's just a slower pace of life. I think I think when I first came over here, I remember one of my first couple of days here. I went to lunch with the guys, and it was like 2 hours long, and I kind of just was like, "Oh my gosh, can somebody take my order?"
Yeah,
So why am I hurrying up to go nowhere, right? So now you kind of go, and on some days you have a beer before lunch or two beers, and then you have your schnitzel or whatever, on a day off or something, and then you have a coffee and a cake, and you walk around, and it's everyone's doing that. That's what's normal over here, and
So
it
laid
showed,
back, right?
yeah, it showed me a different way of life, and I think it's pretty cool.
that's all. Now from playing there for say 9 seasons, right? Um, what's your favorite city in Germany, and maybe your favorite city to play in?
Oh,
I know it's tough this year to really say because you guys haven't really had fans, right? So
yeah, I haven't gotten to really experience Schwenningen at all yet, although it's been great so far. But Dusseldorf was I played there for 3 years. I really loved it there. Ingolstadt won the championship there. That was pretty amazing. Straubing, where I was last year, was great. I mean, I haven't been in too many bad spots. There's not really any bad spots. It's been great. But I would say overall, with everything, the way I was treated with the fans, the way everything was, I gotta say Dusseldorf was top notch.
awesome. Yeah, I've been there a couple times. Good times for sure. And
Yeah, definitely.
Is
big
it weird? Is it weird playing without fans, Travis?
You know what? It's only kind of weird when they're announcing the starting lineup and you're standing there looking around. And,
Right.
you know, I told the guys on the team, we got to make our own energy here. Tell the guys if they have a good shift. Get the guys going that way. And,
Right.
because once the game starts, anyways, you don't notice the people in the stands too much.
Yeah, I know during the USA Canada gold medal game last night, the announcer had said, Dave Starman had said that last night was the first game that they really noticed that there were no fans, like just because you didn't hear like that energy you normally would hear in a gold medal game.
Yeah, USA, Canada, the gold medal game. I mean, there'd be bananas. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty pumped. USA won. It's pretty cool. I was giving it to the Canadian guys in the room today a little bit. And
You get to watch it all?
you know what? I didn't. It was too late. We had a game a couple nights ago, and I didn't. I had the adrenaline going. Didn't get good sleep that night, and then yesterday with the kids all day, I was in bed at like 8:30.
it's like a 3:30 start for you a.m.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah, I can't. Some guys will like get up and watch games and stuff. So I can't do that. It'll ruin my whole next day.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you got a wife and kids. Some of these guys are single. They go to sleep all day when they're not. You got other stuff to do. I'm sure you're not napping all day with your girls. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can't. You can't do that. And I want to be present for them as well. So
Right.
I mean, I love hanging out with the girls. I'd feel guilty if I was
Right.
napping all day because I had to wake up and watch a game. I mean, that's not. I don't think that'd fly with the old lady.
Right. I hear you.
Trev, how's your family like living out in Europe? I'm sure the wife, she kind of knew what she was getting herself into.
Yeah. So, well, we've actually been over here most of our entire relationship. We started dating my last year over in North America. We got engaged after my first year over here, or yeah, I think first year over here, maybe second. So most of our relationship has been been over here, and we've really enjoyed it. We've gotten to see so many amazing places, and with hockey being the hockey world being so small, we have friends all over Europe as well. So it's we've had opportunity to see people in places that otherwise would have cost more money than I could afford to do. So it's been amazing. I mean, we talked about it the other day. Like how weird is that going to be when we're in one place forever? Because
Right.
we have our German home, and we have our home back in St. Louis, and we like it the way it is, and that's how our kids have grown up.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't realize that are just from the United States that haven't really traveled out. When you're living in Europe, it's so easy to go to other countries and travel and whatnot. You could drive to places. It's such a quick travel where from here everything's a hike to get anywhere. Other than maybe Canada. So it's a different world in Europe.
Yeah, it really is. I actually right before the lockdown happened, and everything. My buddy Andrew Ebbett, who I played with at Michigan, he was playing in Bern, Switzerland. They're like 2 hours and 45 minutes away. So we just jetted over there and, went to see him. And, it's nice to see some familiar faces as well. And they can kind of show you around the town. You don't have to hit up all the touristy spots and all that, and really kind of see how everybody lives in these spots. So it's been awesome.
So Travis, on the roller hockey side, before I let you go, a couple quick questions. So on the roller side, who's the best locker room guy you've ever played with on roller?
On roller. Ooh, I mean, how do you have a better locker room guy than CJ? I mean, you just can't. I mean, CJ, he gets the praise because he deserves it. I mean, he's just a great human being, and still a great player. And I really enjoy playing with CJ.
CJ's awesome, obviously. Now, when you watch the games at the Palma Pro and you're watching these other teams play, who are a couple players that stand out to you that you watch and go, wow, that guy's pretty good, other than Mudcat players?
Yeah, Matt White, who's playing in Germany over here as well. He's in Berlin. He's a stud. Also, I've actually gotten to know him through roller, pretty much through Jack Combs, when we played together. Combsy obviously is a great player. Your Tendy there and for the Snipers is great. I mean, there's a lot of good players to name, but those off the top of my head would be the top guys.
Have you played against Matt White out there? Have your teams ever met out when you guys been out there against each other?
Yeah, I've played against Whitey quite a few times. Actually, had the opportunity to go, have a couple beers with him in Augsburg. A time or two. So
more than a couple with him.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Well, I think we had a day off the next day, so we didn't have a game. Yeah, he's a great guy, and it was cool to see him. And to me, what really is the measuring stick for the best players is winners. So that's why I name the guys that I do, the guys who win. I don't care how many points you have if your team loses. Like, I just don't. So guys,
Whitey is good on the blades as on the ice as he is on the wheels.
Yeah, he's a stud. He is a stud. So yeah, really good.
Greg, you have something for
him? Any younger guys, Trav? I mean, I'm sure you don't know a lot of names, especially the younger kids, but any younger kids that stick out?
Gosh, it's tough, like we played with a couple guys, a couple Rick Rack guys. I thought that Mayhew was pretty good. We played with him, in the one tournament in Tampa there, he was good. Yeah, I mean, it is tough with names. I mean, I can tell you guys, there's a couple good players on every team, so it's hard to say. But like I said to me, the guys who win all the time are the guys who, I think are.
That makes sense.
St. Louis continues to churn out good players, though. It's amazing on ice and roller. Just feel this has definitely become a hot spot for hockey talent.
Yeah. St. Louis, both ice and roller. There's a lot of good players, and I think the Blues and the Blues alumni have been really involved. McKinnis and Kachuk and Pronger, and even the older guys like my dad and Mike Zook and Basil McRae, and all those guys have really been involved for a long time. And I also think it's just when you have an NHL team in your city and you see these guys, it's obtainable, and you want to work towards it. It makes a big difference.
Right,
Yeah.
awesome.
Has your dad skated at all? Is he still skating?
Sorry, you say?
Is your dad still skating at all?
Because it was hard or like,
Yeah.
I think because of the medication he has to take with his heart. So
Mhm.
actually, yeah, I miss skating with him. I still go to the Blues alumni skates and stuff and skate with a lot of the guys, he played with, and I enjoy that. And I used to be able to do it with him, but he just can't anymore, which is sad, but is what it is.
Yeah, sucks getting old, man.
Yeah.
Just-
For sure.
Speaking of which, Trav, how many more years do you foresee yourself playing?
Well, I have a 2-year deal here right now. So we'll see. It really just depends on, where the family's at. I think that's what's most important. Now that I have my German passport, I can probably play, a couple more years than I would have been able to play as an import. But we'll cross that road when we get there. I got these 2 years, and then we'll kind of reevaluate. But I love the game, so it's tough. But
Now,
we'll see.
Travis, my last question for you: how is the game different there than the North American game? Say when you were playing in the American Hockey League to playing in this, like how is the style different?
It's actually pretty similar, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. I would say that our league's better than the American Hockey League. You get all your top end AHL stars here, and guys. We have Derek Roy in our league, and who's an NHL superstar, and we get a lot of good players from the NHL. We get a lot of players from Europe that get lost in the system that you've never heard about that are unbelievable players. We just there's just too many good players. I mean, the NHL needs more expansion, to be honest with you. And now with
Is the physicality the same, Travis?
So because the fighting, not as much fighting, but I hear that the American League now is a lot younger, and there's not as much of that going on. It's more a developmental hockey league. So I would assume it's probably pretty similar. I mean, we still have the reason why we have so many good players over here too is because number one, the Germans are getting better, a lot better, as you see. In my 9 years here, I mean, they're just so much better. Not that they were ever not good, but I mean, now they're having first rounders come out all the time, and hockey's really big here. And then the second thing is that the veteran rule with the AHL becoming so younger. There's so many guys with good years left, but 300 games. I mean, you come out of junior and you're 19, 20 years old. You're at 300 games by the time you're 24.
Right.
And there's only so many spots. So it's a really good league, and it's a grind. And even this year too, like there's so many good players that don't have jobs. So the guys that do have jobs, I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, I can remember Whitey was saying when he was in the KHL that league was very defensive oriented. It was a very defensive league. The scoring wasn't as much, and the goalies were so good. It was such a defensive league. So I was just wondering how the Dell was compared to that.
Yeah. Sweden, when I played in Sweden, was super defensive as well. I mean, same kind of thing. That's why I kind of compare our league more to the AHL, just because we have so many more North American guys. We have 8 import spots here, or 9. Sorry, excuse me, 9 import spots here. Yeah.
Pat Cannoni from our team, he played there the last couple of years. He was out there as well playing.
Yeah, he was actually in Shawinigan last year, where I am now. Yeah. So Patty, really, really good player. I was hoping he'd be back here this year as well. I would have liked to play with him.
Yeah, good guy. Good, another good teammate. All right, well, Travis, awesome having you today. We really appreciate you, taking the time away from bath time and everything else to join us. But just real proud of what you're doing out there, and keep up the good work, and real excited to see you with the captaincy on your jersey, and look forward to seeing you at the Palmer Pro this summer back home in the Lou.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Well, thanks for having me. It was good to see you. Greg, I see you got a Peloton on there. Add me, Turnbull 71.
I was just going to bring that up, Trav. I know Saman and you are really all about it, so we're going to have to follow each other. I just started this week, so.
We just had a post on our Instagram about it the other day, Travis. I said the New Year's resolution, all State Wars hockey. We have a hashtag, State Wars hockey.
I love that.
Peloton.
Awesome. I love it. I actually don't have my Peloton here in Germany, but my wife really wants one, so we'll see. Maybe
Get the
we'll.
Saman Shaw special.
Yeah, Saman's a beast on there. I mean,
Yeah.
I kill myself trying to catch that guy.
Right?
Yeah, I've been pushing myself too, and I look at his numbers, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what the hell am I doing wrong here?
I know. I'm like, is my form wrong? Like, what am I doing here?
Right.
Last night I was actually playing around with the cleats. I just don't know where they should be. I'm trying to, they're coming loose. I'm pedaling. I hear them like clicking. I'm like, oh, geez.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome though, isn't it? Like it really.
I'm
Back,
getting a little.
yeah, back to that wanting to win. I go a lot harder on the Peloton than I go on a just normal stationary bike. It's good for some competitive nature there. So
It's like a quarantine competitiveness you could have with guys in their own houses, So it's,
I know, seriously. I was like, oh my gosh, I need a freaking home gym now. Like,
yeah.
with all this stuff, trying to
That's
train.
the hard part. Speaking of gyms, Larry Atagoki from your team, who's obviously, he's like an Adonis, his build right now. And, he was talking about, working with the Yankees, how the minor league guys, they don't have the money to have these home gyms like the pros have. It's easy to tell Aaron Judge what to do at home. He's probably got a gym bigger than my house, but these young guys don't have it. And it's so hard for them to keep in shape without being able to go to the gym.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, Peloton was unbelievable for me. I ordered it Saman's actually hooked me up with it, and I ordered it as soon as I could, and I think back in March or whatever, whenever things started talking down, and yeah, it's been huge. So,
Travis, one last question before you go. So schnitzel or emos?
oh gosh, you know what? I gotta go with emos. Just because I'm a St. Louis guy, but it's tough. It's tough to beat schnitzel.
That'd be weird with the food, right? Your diet's one way in Germany, and you go home, and then you're like, you want to have the stuff you don't get to have, right? You want to, have an Emos or go to Lion's Choice or something like from home, and it's got to be your stomach so used to one way, I would think. Your appetite.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, there's not really fast food here. I mean, there's Subway, McDonald's, Burger King, maybe KFC, but not every town has them. Our town has, I think, all four of those. But I'll go to McDonald's and get the kids Happy Meals every once in a while. But we're really, I like to go to the authentic German mom and pop restaurants.
Right.
The Italian food over here, people just come over from Italy, because it's so close. Have their own little trattoria or whatever you call it, and they're just the food over here is really amazing.
Mike keeps a jar of the Cyberg sauce in his refrigerator at home, so he misses that.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I definitely miss. Yeah, Chick-fil-A and Chipotle too. Like those are big ones that you miss. It's hard to just like leave practice, and sometimes I'm so ravenous after practice, I just want to like stop and eat something pretty healthy, but you can't do it here.
Yeah,
you have to go home and cook or get takeout somewhere that takes a while. So it's different, but I'm enjoying my time.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, keep up the good work. Good luck this season, and we'll see you this summer.
Thank you. We'll see you this summer, guys.
Thanks,
right, take care.
Take care. Good luck.
Thank you. See you.
There we had it. Travis Turnbull, Tour Mudcat, and a Wild Wing right now over in Germany in the Dell. Great stuff. What a great guy, huh, Greg?
Oh man, yeah, and I'm sure he's got a million stories for us as well. Yeah, I mean he's diehard. Hockey's embedded in his body. From birth. With his dad playing in the NHL, and Perry, his dad, owning Queenie Park roller hockey rink. So he lives and dies by hockey, and he loves roller hockey. He's a pure roller hockey guy and just loves the sport. So it's awesome to see those ice guys, loving roller hockey like Travis does.
If you watch him like in the Palma Pro this year, I wasn't just blowing smoke. I thought he had his best tournament this year. He was definitely a standout in the tournament. You could just see like that drive he's got, and he's yelling at guys. He's in face, he's on the bench, he's standing up, and to guys that aren't like that, it's probably a little much to some guys because they're like, oh my God, this guy's nuts. But like, that's what you want. And we have some guys like that as well. And you just see that drive he has, and you can see why he's so successful even at 35 years old, playing at a pretty high level in ice hockey.
Yeah, I mean, to do that at his age, it's really impressive. And when his wires cross, boy, just don't want to get in front of him. Get off the tracks because he's coming through, and he's a big boy.
Think of his dad, man. How much of an animal his dad must have been. I mean, you think about the NHL back then. We were talking about the other day without, goalies without masks and stuff. I mean, think about when he was playing. That's, back in you see the stories of Mike Milbury, them chasing a guy in the crowd, beating a guy with a shoe in the stands or whatever. I mean, these guys were lunatics back then. I mean, the Bobby Clarks and the Flyers back then and the stuff that, I mean, today's game is nothing compared to that. You had to be a badass to be a tough guy in the league back then.
Yeah. I mean, just knowing Perry, he's a big boy, and he's got some mitts on him. And I could see him doing some damage to some people out there, and to go second overall, that's freaking impressive.
79 draft. I mean, I said Mike Gartner drafted that year. Ray Bork was taken 8th. Mark Messier in the 3rd round that year. I mean, you were the 2nd overall pick that year. Is so impressive. And I can only imagine, Queenie Park back in the day when Perry was still a little younger, some guys on the rink fighting or wising off and who having to go out there. Imagine Perry having to go out there and grab some guy with those mitts around their neck.
Oh my God, he probably scared a lot of guys off. Sure. Guys are probably saints after that.
Then we know why Ron Beelston and him are such good buddies. Ron had he get a little screw loose back in the day too with the Bandits and those guys. I can only imagine the ass whoopings that were going on in St. Louis roller hockey rinks back in the 80s.
Oh my God, right? I can imagine.
It's just great stuff. But no, it's love having Travis on. It's so great to see so many guys that are doing so well on the ice, and it's great to see another guy just talk about the positives of roller hockey. Obviously didn't affect his game at all. He said it's helped him. And another guy he always talks about too, how there's times he enjoys roller hockey more. We've heard Pat Maroon say that. We heard Steve Oleski say these guys that play have played NHL games saying that.
Yeah.
It's so awesome to see. And I've had this discussion. It's funny. I was talking with Chris Hoysick yesterday about Skate Safe and about wanting to get involved with the rink there. And sometimes these rinks, they don't realize that, that carrot for these young guys to play in the Palma Pro division, to play for maybe Team USA, to have these things in roller hockey is so big for a young player. And if they don't have those things to shoot for, it kind of, I don't want to say it gets boring, but it just loses its luster. Other sports have those avenues to get to the next level. And roller hockey has that. You can play in an Arch Pro, a Tours Pro, the Palma Pro division, even in a Pi-Ha league or AIHL, whatever these leagues are that, it's not the greatest hockey, but it's something. And then to play maybe for a Team USA, these higher levels, this is what these guys shoot for. And, you see it all the time. Chris Hoysick said last night when his team came to State Wars last year, play in 05, 04, whatever they play. He says, these kids go home and they're just so pumped for roller hockey after being a State Wars. And I think that's what these tournaments breed in kids. And I think it's fair to say if it wasn't for a Narch or an Ayers back in the day, or USARs, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing here today. And I don't think you would be either. It's tournament hockey that drives these kids.
Yeah, I agree. It gets old playing against the same teams in rec leagues. So, there needs to be that carrot, like you said, like a State Wars to these kids to work for, start playing some tournaments. And then from there, getting good and getting competitive and maybe wanting to go play college hockey, college roller hockey, and then ultimately playing in the pro division. So, yeah, I mean, tournament hockey brings out a lot for these kids. And, I think tournament hockey should be showcased a lot more at these rinks, just to get these kids excited.
No, and you brought up college. I by accident, I left out college. You bring up a great point. I mean, college roller hockey, there's a lot of people out there. Remember, we used to go to tryouts and bring it up, and there were parents saying, what? There's college roller hockey? Like, they weren't even aware of that. So, there's so much out there, and, these kids need to know about it because it's what's going to make them better, too. I remember my first year, 1992, going to USAR's Nationals in New Jersey, and we spent almost 2 weeks there. And once we got home, granted, we were exhausted. But after that, I just couldn't wait to play roller hockey more because you saw the level out there. You saw, the 99er youth team, maybe, Greg, for you as a kid, or a sniper team or whatever when someone's younger, and then eventually the roller dragon team was that to somebody else. You see these high-end teams, and you just want to be like them, right? I know Jay Muro has brought that up before with Black Ice, that it's what made them, want to be better, seeing matching uniforms and how good these teams were and stuff. And, it gets guys excited.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for me, it was just watching the better teams, going to these tournaments and hearing about them, and then ultimately, watching them. Teams like the Snipers or, the 99ers, like you brought up. I mean, that's the stuff you want to shoot for, right? Like, you want to be better and get better and play on high level teams like that. And, it all comes around and makes kids work harder. So.
Hey, this is Laura Bejaranta, world champion from Team USA. Well, actually, 5-time world champ, if anyone is counting. You are listening to the SWH podcast.
Speaking of Laura Bejaranta, next week, from what I understand, Greg, is she going to be our next guest next week on the show?
So she says, yeah. I mean, she was juggling some work stuff, but she said she's in. I'm going to touch base with her again, but hopefully next Thursday we'll see her on the podcast.
Yeah, excited for that. I mean, she's a real popular gal. It's hard to get her on here between work and everything else going on. And we'll probably talk to her about the Peloton a little bit. I see her posting some Instagram photos, usually her dog or a Peloton or something. So we'll talk to her about that. But talk about another phenom. I know the girls don't always get as much credit, in this sport, but arguably you can make an argument, best roller hockey player in the world right there on the women's side, in Laura.
Yeah, she's phenomenal, and she's a roller hockey player. She grew up playing at Huntington Beach, and started playing ice hockey, and ended up at Providence College. So now she's strictly a roller girl, back playing just strictly roller. But yeah, she lights a lamp. I mean, she's sick out there. So be cool to get her backstory a little more next week, and the avenue she went through to get to Providence.
Yeah, no, for sure. We've had Jared Redcliffe on one time with us here, so we've been trying to get Laura on. So I know some people might be thinking, "Oh, get the girls on." We've been trying to get Laura on, but like I said, she's one of those popular kids. You got to book her months in advance to get her. So hopefully we got it locked down for next week. We're excited to have her on. So we'll have Laura from Team USA back with us next week. Anything else going on in your world right now, Greg? Today's a Wednesday. I know we got our Skate Safe Big Men's League starting tonight. Is Rapid Fire starting tonight with you guys too in the new league, or?
No. The season's kind of midway through over there, so I'll wait till next season to start playing in that. Hopefully within the next month. But I'm looking forward to our Sunday morning league.
Next week we start up 17th.
Yeah. So I've been kind of nursing a pinky injury, but hopefully I'll be good to go. I'm excited to start playing again. It's been probably about 3-4 weeks since we last played. So
play Anti-3, who knocked us out in the semis first game. So I think we're gonna have to get back a little paybacks at Anti-3 with a heartbreaking 40-second left. Coach D, of all people, had to tip it out of the air to beat us in the semifinal, and they went on to win the championship.
Yeah, we gotta step it up and hopefully beat them out of the gate to start the season. But yeah, looking forward to it. I need to skate, and just really baby stuff. Paisley, and we watched a series called Imposters on Netflix. Ended that pretty good, and now I'm watching Cobra Kai.
Yeah, I'm on the third. Had you watched it before?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm like midway through the third season with that. It's been pretty good so far.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, pretty good.
It's obviously cheesy, but it's fun,
Easy, but it's funny. I was watching one of the episodes this morning. I was feeding Paisley, but there was like some foul language. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize. I'm like, I guess I just didn't pick up on it the first 2 seasons, but I'm like, oh my God, like as cheesy as the show is, I'm like, oh my God, the language.
I think that's because, the first 2 seasons, it wasn't owned by Netflix and stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
And remember, there was a show I used to watch, Designated Survivor, with Kiefer Sutherland. And it was the same thing. The show, the first couple seasons was like a network show. And then the last season, it was owned by Netflix or whoever, Amazon, whoever bought it. And then suddenly there was a little nudity. There was some F-bombs. I was like, whoa, you could see how it changed. And same thing with Cobra Kai. Yeah, the language definitely has stepped it up this season, just because now it's a Netflix show, where before, I don't know if it was a YouTube, I think it was a YouTube show, whatever, the first 2 seasons originally, and then Netflix bought it and showed it. Now they took it over.
Yeah.
So, or Apple owns it or whatever. So that's why.
Okay, I was curious. I'm like, oh my god, like I can't believe you said that.
You
But
gotta
yeah,
watch that Your Honor show on Showtime.
Your
Um,
Honor.
Your Honor, highly recommend that, people at home. It's a show. It's you can't watch them all at once. It's once a week. So I think it's like 4 or 5 weeks in. And lead character. There you go, from Breaking Bad. He's the lead actor, and he's a judge in it. Yeah, really good. I think you should check it out. I think you would like it for sure.
Yeah, I need a new show after Cobra Kai. So
Yeah, it's weird watching a show and you got to wait every week to watch it, though. You're so used to being able to just binge watch on a show. So to have to wait a whole week, it's like, I gotta wait a whole week to watch this show,
yeah,
So it's kind of funny.
that's
I'm
cool.
excited to see your legs next week, Greg. You've been on this Peloton. You got started. I know Travis brought up the Peloton. You got started a few weeks ago, so I expect to see a little more pep in your step next game.
Last week I started. I'm starting out slow, just 20-minute classes, just to get situated, familiar with the bike, and then I'm gonna gradually, hopefully step it up a little bit here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to skating. It's been a little while now, but again, I've been nursing this pinky injury and just curious to see if I could grip a stick. So
Yeah, you'll be fine. You're better with 9 fingers, and most start with 10. So not worried about GT.
I don't know about that. What else is going on over there? And anything new?
It's the same old stuff. Like I said, we got the Skate Safe game tonight. You and I got to meet up at some point today to get these sniper jerseys. Unveil some sniper jerseys tonight for our guys. So excited to play. Wednesday night hockey at Skate Safe 30 and over league or whatever. So I'm excited for that. I think Friday night we're gonna ice skate. The guys have rented the rink for Friday night, so I'm gonna skate a little ice on Friday. And I got the school team I coach. We're gonna practice on Friday. We don't have a season, but we've been practicing on Fridays. But we've been off the last few weeks for New Year's and Christmas and everything else. So it's been about 3 weeks since we practiced. So I get back on the ice with the kids a little bit on Friday. So excited for that. But nothing. Groundhog's Day, for the most part, nothing really goes on these days much. Then excited to get back to work a little bit, get these tournaments booked.
Yeah.
People that came on late, we announced, Winter Wars West, we pushed to April 9th and 11th. And our Midwest Wars, we're going to hold May 14th to 16th in Illinois at Mount Prospect and at Soul Creek, like we did 2 years ago before this damn pandemic. And we'll get a pro division going there again with that, which was a nice little warm up for the summer. And just things, moving along that way, Greg, getting a lot of interest. I know you spoke to our buddy Michael Frindle from Switzerland the other day about hopefully coming back with some Swiss teams to State Wars this summer. So be excited to get the international teams back this summer in St. Peter's.
Yeah, he wrote me the other day and just asking about State Wars and dates and costs and all that stuff. And he's really going to try to get something going, but obviously it just all depends on this damn virus and what goes on with that. So.
Yeah, no, we got a couple people chimed in here. So our buddy Dave Zarin, one of our old-time Michigan directors, liked our swag, Team USA. So yeah, of course, Coach Z, I know he was rooting for the boys last night. And Jeffrey Gardner, old-time referee at Narch, our buddy living out in California. He liked our interview with the Bull. So thanks, Jeff. And Vinny Comito said Happy New Year. So great to see Vinny Comito on. Vinny, because he was in the hospital with COVID. I didn't even know that. You had told me, and I saw it on Facebook. So it was really scary to see that, knowing what a beast he is out on the rink and in great shape and whatnot. So great to see Vinny back home. And I know last week, Greg, you had brought up, speaking of COVID, Nick Lloyd, our buddy back in St. Louis, he had been in the hospital in pretty bad shape. And I know he was really, his family was really worried about him. He's back home doing a lot better. So, our thoughts are out to everybody that's still dealing with this damn virus. And, again, glass half full productions here, still being positive, trying to get through this whole thing like we all are. And hopefully greener pastures come this spring.
Yeah, it's good to see Nick back home with his family. I'm sure he's still, recouping a little bit, but it's just crazy to see, guys, especially a guy like Vinny Comito, who's in such good shape. It just surprises me. It's crazy how how guys like that can go to the hospital and, be, just basically like done.
I think once it gets in your lungs, that's
Wiped out from this
what
virus.
right, Greg? If it gets in your chest or your lungs, that's where it gets dangerous for people.
Yeah.
So it's always scary that way. But yeah, no, it's definitely been a trying time for everybody. But we got to keep plugging along here. It still beats the alternative of being on the ground. So just got to keep being positive, keep working hard. And again, we're talking about this Peloton again, beaten to death, but New Year's resolution, we put it on our Instagram page, hashtag State Wars Hockey. Anyone at home who rides a Peloton, get in our group there, hashtag State Wars Hockey. Or what does Johnny call it in Cobra Kai? Hash fries, I think he calls it, instead of hash browns. He calls it hash browns instead of hashtag, but hashtag State Wars Hockey. Let's all get in better shape. I mean, that's been my goal. Like, hey, when this whole thing's over, there's no excuse for anybody not to have a better relationship with their kids, and the kids are home a lot more with them, and to be in better shape. Home workouts, ride the bike, go for a run, push ups, sit ups, whatever you got to do at home. Everyone should be in better shape when this is done. If you're fatter and in worse shape after this pandemic, I just don't even know what to tell you. This is the time to take care of yourself a little bit more. I'm sure everyone's got a lot more free time than normal.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's it. That's all I got today, Tim. Pleasure having Travis Turnbull on today, and just seeing what life's like, out in Germany, and through the eyes of a professional ice hockey player. So, pretty cool stuff, and we're very lucky for him to come on. And I know it's late out there, so it's awesome to see him come on and meet with us.
So it was pretty telling too to see when he talked about the quarantine there, about how everything's closed and pretty much no more than one person in your house. I mean, I know people in the US get so riled up about all these restrictions and kind of almost make it like it's just going on in the US. Like, I mean, look, that's Germany, what they're dealing with. So this is obviously, it is real, and it is going around in the whole world. So let's all do our part to get through this. And maybe if more of us took it a little more serious, we wouldn't be dealing with it as long as we are. So that's really it for me on that. But look forward to next week. Like you said, SWH podcast next week. Laura Verhata. Is that how you say her last name, Greg? Verhata?
Hunter, yeah.
Verhata? Okay, I always mispronounce it.
We'll have to ask her the exact, pronunciation.
And we'll get her on here, talk about her last name and Team USA. She's won many a gold medal on Team USA. And, we see her at the Palma, in our Palma Pro women's division, I guess you want to call it, because we will have a money prize back on this year, $2,500 for the women's winner. And she won that 2 years ago with the Rink Rat Republic.
She's won quite a few years. Yeah, she won with the Michigan girls, and she also won with the Palma. I guess they were called. I don't know if they were the Knights then or the Cyclones, but yeah, the Palma girls. So
yeah, no, she's might be the winning form. Might be having Laura on your team. So we'll see her hopefully next week on. We'll talk to you guys next week on the SWH podcast. Probably back on Thursday next week, but we'll confirm during the week when it's going to be. Probably get back to our regular time. We switched to Wednesday today because of Travis's ice schedule to get him in from Germany. So thanks again to Travis and to all our listeners out there, and stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys soon. Thanks, GT.
Danke.